Hey YouTube, Casey Classic 7 here, back again with another video. Got some NBA 2K18 here. As you see, these are my week 1 or the first weekend results of the 2K League Combine. I played 17 games, went 9-8. So we definitely want to get my win percentage up. Averaged 15 and 10 this weekend. Shot 49% from the field, shot 24% from three, so definitely want to get those percentages up. Overall, shot pretty decent from the free throw line this weekend at 88%. Just thought of this off the top of my head. One thing that I definitely would like to see added into the stats, one thing that they could add into the stats is let us split up the how we view our stats. So if we want to just see all of our stats from our Saturday games, let us do that. If we want to see our stats from the first weekend, let us do that. If we want to see certain days, like all of our Wednesday stats, or we just want to see certain stats as a specific position, allow us to do these things. I think that's definitely one good addition that they can add in. But because I was just looking at my weekend stats, and I was thinking, how did my play improve from this weekend, from the weekend that I just played to the weekend that I'm going to play next weekend, God willing, of course. So that's something that I think could definitely be a great addition, even though that's not what this video is going to be specifically about. But I was just thinking about that as I was looking through my stats. So another thing that I also know that I do need to improve on is my turnovers. I have to be averaging at least a couple of turnovers a game. There was definitely some games where I had some 6 and 7, maybe even 8 turnover games due to the AIs and players quitting, and just overall trying to force plays that didn't have to be made. So but that's all things that I've made note of, and I'm going to really be conscious for the next weekend when we're talking about the 2K League Combine. So I don't want to just leave you guys staring at this screen for this video, so I'm going to throw some gameplay in the background. This was my first game as the playmaking shot creator. Shot creator first, obviously playmaker second for those who have ran that point guard position. That was the archetype that I use in this specific game. So I did want to talk about some of the things that I liked and disliked about this combine process. Overall, I do really think that this was a great the way that they did it was great. I have no issues with the way they did it. I like that there are preset archetypes. I like that the overall process of the the players that you play with are random, so you're not able to play with a specific team, so you can have a specific player or a specific player sign within a system. Both of those things are things that I think were good when we're talking about a combine. You want to be able to be effective with whoever you're playing with and with whatever system that you're playing in. So if you are a slasher, let's say, because I have ran with the slashing point guard a lot of my games, I have to learn how to tailor my game around other slashers, so we're just all not clogging the lane and being able and just being ineffective that way. I really do think that is something that's great and something that's really appreciated when it comes to this process. Another thing that I can commend 2K on, this kind of reminds me of the way that NHL does their like their pro-am, I guess. I can't think. EAHL, their EA Sports Hockey League. That slipped me for a second. I do, because it kind of reminds me of that, to where your players preset, you can't make many switches on them, and I like that. I like that you have to use a specific player weight, his height. You can't you can't kind of fudge the system, because I know there's ways for a player to make his player taller, but you can put his weight down in it. You know, it makes him more effective than what he is. So to put that preset on him, you have to play at that height, that weight, and I really do appreciate that, because whatever your archetype is, you kind of have to stick within that archetype. And speaking of archetypes, that's another thing that I do like about this 2K League process. I like that every archetype isn't available, which I don't think it should have been, and whatever archetypes are available, that you have to play within that archetype. So again, I played as the shot creating, or as the slasher playmaker primarily, and the threes that I took, even if they were good threes, they did not go in at a high clip, which they shouldn't have. I'm a slashing playmaker, so I have to primarily finish around the rim, or at least at the mid range. So it forced me to have to tailor my game to play at that archetype, which I have no I have no problem with doing that. And I know a lot of people don't like that idea. They want to be able to kind of be everything kind of players, but that's not what this is for. And if you want to do that, you have multiple modes like the Pro-Am, as well as the walk-on, as well as your my career to do that. I think that was probably the most frustrating thing this weekend, is hearing all the complaints about certain things, like I'm not able to pick my free throw, my jump shot, but no one is. So why are you complaining about it? Like, everyone's at the same quote unquote disadvantage that you are. So I'm not understanding what the complaints are for. But I mean, I get that you've grinded this player all year and all that stuff, which is great, but you know, if we're talking about something completely different from Pro-Am, and you have to appreciate that. Another thing that I did like, even though it was a little bit tough to get adjusted to at first, is the extended quarter length. I like that. It's a longer game, which means you have to be more focused within within these 24 minutes of playing. Um, I know, and it's crazy that that little bit of time could really, that those extra 4 minutes could really make a difference, but it really does. So if you have that 10-point lead, it's really not a secure thing, as in those 5-minute quarters you could hold on to the ball a little bit longer, and just overall make the process a little bit easier when getting wins. But with that extra minute, there's a lot more possessions in the game than what you think. So definitely can be appreciated. It also show you can showcase more of, I mean, all 5 players' skills within those 24 minutes as well, which in a 20-minute game, you can have a player only take a couple shots, but within those 24 minutes, everyone's going to have to somewhat be a contributor. Another thing that I can appreciate that they added is the lack of customization. Again, I know a lot of players are not fans of it, but in the same regard, if you are good at this game, you're going to be able to tailor your game to whatever is being presented to you. So so those players who need a specific jump shot, or who need those specific dribble moves to get to their positions and to be able to be effective, they're not able to do that. And that also means a customization on the floor as well. So if you're a center who primarily is not used to guarding stretch bigs, and you have your point guard in walk on, or your team Pro-Am switch that matchup, it now forces you to have to tailor your game to guarding that stretch big that you're not used to guarding. So overall, this helps you, and it shows how versatile of a player that you are. That's the things that I really can appreciate about what the 2K League Combine presented. So I'm going to make a separate video for my negatives, just so this video isn't a super long video. So let me know what you guys think about my positives. Do you agree with me? Disagree? Did you guys know any positives that I have forgotten? But those were the things that I highlighted from this weekend in terms of positives. But we will definitely get into the negatives, and it's going to be um, the next video. So I'm going to put these up together. KC Classic 7 signing out.